But Nate, the reason I wanted to bring you in is because another thing that we heard today was also another a death of a career, and the great Drew Brees, and he retired. So Nate, talk to me. How do you feel? Where do you put Drew Brees on your list?
First of all, congratulations to Drew Brees. It was unexpected. I had a feeling he was going to retire when he looked back at midfield when the game was over. I think that was kind of to let us know that he was done. Drew Brees is definitely in my top 10 quarterbacks. I think what he's done not only for the game of football but for the city of New Orleans and just as a person, I think that can't go unnoticed. Even though last summer he kind of got himself in a bit of a sticky situation with a comment he made by a question that was not the question that was asked that didn't make sense, but that's neither here nor there. So definitely first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt. You're the Saints. It's good that you did prepare for this. I don't think Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston are the immediate future, but it's good to see that the Saints were prepared. So I don't think his rib injuries caused it. I think it was in my personal opinion, I think it was something more. I think there was some division in that locker room when he came back from the injury, and I think he left it all out there on the field. So that's my take.
Yeah, and Delilah, I mean, like Kat says, shout out to Kat. New Orleans will not be the same. And Nate touched on it. What he did that year after Katrina for that city, for Louisiana, like he brought them out. I mean, if ever a team could bring a city, an environment, a town out of the what they were in, he did that for them that year. You know.
Yeah, he did. No, I think just to touch on what what Nate was saying is he spoke out of turn, but the one thing that I did appreciate is that he didn't blow it off and he recognized that it wasn't an issue he was familiar with, so at least he wasn't condescending, right? Like he recognized that he spoke out of turn, and so and I think that's why a lot of people were like, okay, whatever, like everybody has their moments, right? And so he could have been a complete, jackhole about it, but he wasn't. Like he accepted that, it was a misstep, right? And so he corrected it. And I think people forget that he really did bring that city together after Katrina, right? And so and he really gave them some hope and something to cheer for, and something, and I do think he 100% future Hall of Famer. Like there's no doubt. When that comes up, when the time is up or whatever. I think it's a decade, right? 10 years. Is it 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
So he'll definitely be
over. He played in this with the Saints for 15.
Yeah,
he had a 20-year career because he had those 5 years with the
Chargers. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, I think I forget that. I think a lot of us forget he started his career with the Chargers. We're like, oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm. Ask Nick Saban about that.
Yes, Nick Saban. Yeah. But no, I mean, good luck to him and his announcing gig. It'll be fun to see him up there with the guys, with the other greats. Yeah. That's gonna be really cool to see him josh around with them guys. So.
and Nick, what Delilah just alluded to, Drew Brees announced Monday today that he's joining the NBC Sports team as a studio analyst for Football Night in America. So yeah, I mean, we all know how Tony Romo sounds from the booth.
Good old
how
Tony
is Drew
Romo.
Brees gonna sound?
Well, I think I'm sure Drew will be fine. I mean, he's a very knowledgeable guy of the has a great knowledge of the game. Obviously, he's seen it for 20 years. It's a.
You're gonna like him better than Troy Aikman, because I know you don't like him as announcer.
You know what? I can't with Troy Aikman. I'm sorry. We can do a whole show on why I don't like Troy Aikman as an announcer. But
that's what I'm saying. So you think he's gonna be better?
Well, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. Like again, you find it interesting that it's the quarterbacks allowed to go and be guys in the booth. Because these are guys who see the game.
Right,
they see you know what I mean? Like they have great knowledge. They have a great working knowledge of the game because they see it all on the field from where they are. Like they do. So I think they bring a great perspective, and I'm sure Drew will do the same thing. I'm sure he will bring great analysis. He'll bring great insight, and he'll give you his stories from his time playing the game. So it'll be like any other quarterback who joins a booth or who joins a team. You're going to hear it all. And again, as far as those quarterbacks go, that's why I love Terry Bradshaw.
I love him.
Bradshaw to me has been one of the best at this for years.
He is.
And Terry was a quarterback, in the league with the Steelers, and he just brings that unique perspective and his stories and all that, and it's great. So I think
I love him in the booth. He's actually one of my favorite announcers.
I love that. I love that perspective. I love where he's coming from. We got to talk about his stellar career. He won Super Bowl 44. He was a Super Bowl MVP over the great Peyton Manning. He was a two-time Offensive Player of the Year, 13-time Pro Bowl selection.
Oh, sure.
7 times he was NFL passing leader. 5 times, and the only player with 5,000-yard seasons. He's the all-time leader in passing yards and completions. So, Nate, I'm coming back to you, man. And touchdowns, right? So Nate, I'm coming back to you. You touched on it when you went earlier. I mean, that's a huge drop off, even with the 2 quarterbacks, Winston and Taysom Hill combined. I mean, these guys are used to playing for the playoffs, potentially going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, what are we looking at, Nate?
I think the Saints they'll be fine. I don't see them a team like going 6-10, and I do see the team, going 10-6. I mean, they do have some cap issues that they have to address. I mean, they're strapped for the next 2 years. So, I mean, right, like Taysom Hill and just Winston, not sure in the future. I mean, they're a future right now, but going forward, you do have to have to build somebody up from the ground. So for now, these 2 are just filler-ins, and who knows? Jameis Winston, him in New Orleans, this could definitely be a new scenery for him. He definitely learned behind Drew Brees. Taysom Hill, he's a good quarterback.
Is that their guy though? I don't know. I don't see it.
Exactly. I just don't see it. So, I mean, like I said, these are your 2 fill-ins for now, and you got Alvin Kamara, you got Michael Thomas. I mean, Emmanuel Sanders is no longer there, but I think the Saints will be fine.
Yeah, I think Brandon Davis, I saw, commented that he thinks they'll be better. But I want to ask him though, what's your quarterback situation? Like, who do you want to be your guy to start, Brandon? Do you want it to be Taysom, or do you want it to be Winston? Right, like.
Marcus Mariota.
Because Taysom Hill has that contract where they gave him 4 years for $140 million.
It sounds like a starting job to me, but I don't know.
But it's all voidable.
It's not it's right.
Yeah,
right.
It's all voidable. So which means that they can literally take the rug out from under him anytime.
They could, for
sure. They will. They're not going to pay him $140 million, and we all know that.
He's a gimmick. He's a gimmick.
Like that's why people get excited. Like, why would you give him that money? Well, they're not. It's a voidable contract. They will look at him this year and maybe next year and go, okay, we're done with you.
Yeah.
Because again, he's a specialty player. They're going to use him the same way they used him this year.
Yep.
Let's be honest. They're going to use him the same way. Whether it's famous Jameis who starts, or they go get somebody in free agency, or they draft someone in the later rounds, whatever. But Taysom Hill, I think, will still be used the same way he was used last year.
Okay, so he
He's
thinks
he's
Winston.
an offensive weapon.
Here we go. Yeah. Okay. Out of the two, he's saying Winston.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
Like everybody throws shade on Winston for the 30 interceptions, but we got it. We
he's a 30 for 30 guy.
Winston,
in baseball, that'd be great.
So, but we can't overlook the fact that he's thrown for 5,000 passing yards in a season.
Yeah.
Okay. Winston is still produced. And that's the crazy thing. But we have to move on. A shout out to my man. Got to salute Drew Brees because he is one of the greats. And I thought that when Tom Brady came in his division, that was going to give him reason to stay for a couple more years. But with the last couple years and how they've just, 2 years ago got gypped out of the playoffs by the terrible non-call. The Minnesota Miracle. Right. The Minnesota Miracle with Stephon Diggs where he caught it on the last play of the game.
We all remember.
Right. So he's had some tough years these last couple years to get to these places and then fall short. And